Turning now to what has been, to say the least, a turbulent day in the United States. The Congress has reconvened to certify President-elect Joe Biden's victory after it was interrupted by violent protests at the Capitol building. Our Lee Kyung-eun has been following the news for us. Kyung-eun, just walk us through the latest.
Mark, lawmakers have resumed counting the electoral votes, which will certify Joe Biden's victory in the November 3rd elections. They only counted 12 votes before the session had to temporarily stop earlier on Wednesday due to violent protests. Supporters of President Trump stormed the Capitol building in Washington, D.C., protesting the election results. In clashes between the protesters and the police, one female protester was shot dead, lawmakers were evacuated, and the National Guard was called in. At the time, a handful of Republicans were also planning to object to the count, supporting Trump's efforts to overturn Biden's victory. As the session reconvened, Republican Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell condemned the protesters, saying they tried to disrupt our democracy. They failed. Democratic Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer echoed the remarks, saying today will go down as one of the darkest days of recent American history.
Yeah, it's hard to remember seeing anything like it on the TV this morning here in Korea, but in the midst of all this chaos that's been going on, a growing number of politicians, including former US President Barack Obama, they are pointing the accusing finger at President Trump for inciting the protests we've seen over the past few hours. What can you tell us about that?
Mark, prior to Wednesday's session, President Trump had tweeted about the mass rally. It was part of his continued efforts to overturn Biden's victory, citing baseless claims of election fraud. Even on Wednesday, Trump sent out a series of tweets repeating those claims, and he uploaded a video message to protesters saying, "I love you," before telling them to go home. Twitter and Facebook removed the video and suspended President Trump. Several White House aides are considering resigning, and a growing number of Republicans say they believe Trump should be removed from office. The D.C. Attorney General called on Vice President Mike Pence to invoke the 25th Amendment to remove Trump. Back to you, Mark.